Hey guys, what's up? Steve here with SCPA Weather Forecast. You should be able to see my face today. You want to see some facial expressions, which is why I did the camera. Anyway, I have a camera on where I'm looking at you. I have two screens here, so bear with me as I look over this way. That doesn't mean I'm not paying attention to you, it just means that I'm looking at what you're seeing on your screen. All right. If you guys smoke cigars, any of you, this is a Blackworks Studio Killer Bees. It is a phenomenal cigar. Now, this was out of their specialty box, holiday box. So this is what you normally won't see. You'll see this is a Connecticut wrapper. If you're familiar with cigars, you'll see more of a darker Nicaraguan wrapper. Anyway, let's get to business here. This is going to be educational, informative, and I'm going to try to break it all down to you into what's going on and so on and so forth. Just a quick rep for my company. Probably reading backwards, but Epoxy Docs. We do epoxy flooring, garages. Let me give you an example. See that floor right there? That's the work that we do. Also, my other company is Squeegee Clean. We have residential and commercial window cleaning, pressure washing, gutter cleaning, roof cleaning, carpet cleaning, and snow removal, which is a service that I'm going to have to provide on Sunday and Monday. So that's a quick rep for my companies. What you're looking at, let me get this here, pen. It's in red, so I'm going to do it in white. All right, so what you're looking at here, this is the latest European 500 millibar chart. And right here in Washington and Oregon is the piece of energy that is going to develop our storm on Sunday and Monday. So I want to go here and show you. So this is the latest water vapor map. And there is that piece of energy coming into the West Coast right now. So the reason why I'm showing you this is because we will gather more accurate model data and information over the course of the next 24 to 36 hours. Now, normally, this starts to get sampled pretty good, but then it goes through the Rocky Mountains where there's a lack, therefore, of sampling devices and air balloons and whole nine yards. So I like to hold off, particularly in tricky situations like this, until the energy gets out of the Rockies, which is probably going to be sometime tomorrow. Now let's visualize that back here. So here's where the energy was right now. This is this afternoon at 4 o'clock per the European model. Now let's track this energy. Ready? We're going to go forward. Energy's in this area right here, still in the Rockies. That's tomorrow after or tomorrow morning. And then once it gets out into the plains, which is pretty much right now, so that would be 7, 10 o'clock tomorrow night, we will start getting true and tall tale data, which will help in the forecast. I also want to point you to this out here in the Atlantic. This is a big storm, which is basically wrapping up tomorrow, missing the coast to the east. But I have a sneaky feeling that this little roadblock here is playing a factor into the model's representation of this. So let's continue to move forward here. There is the energy. This is the upper low. It's going to spawn a surface low down here. This is 1 o'clock Saturday. Surface low is spawn in Louisiana and Mississippi And surface lows now in Alabama. Upper low right here. This is the upper level low. This is the surface low. I know you can't really see it, but let me see if I could draw it right here. Surface low. So here's where the crossroads begins to come into play. How, let me get back here to this. How soon does this storm, which was out here, get out of the way? Number two, how strong is it really? Is it stronger than what the models have indicated, or is it weaker? And does it per se slow down or congest this area of traffic in the atmosphere from moving along? I do not think the models have a good handle on that. Okay, so let's move forward here. 7 a.m. Sunday. Upper low, low pressure right here. We're going to track this low pressure system. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to zoom in to this so that you can see a little bit better. Okay, pay no attention to that L right there. In fact, let me erase that L. Pay no attention to this L. Let's go back to the mouse. All right, upper low. Very strong upper level low, by the way. Surface low pressure. This is 4 o'clock on Sunday. Precipitation is probably about DC southward. We're going to go now. This is every 3 hours. Upper level low, surface low. Upper level low, surface low, right over pretty much Richmond, Virginia. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. Someone is going to get, in my opinion, this is not a forecast, but in my general knowledge, I will have a full forecast, but in my opinion, someone's going to get 20 to 30 inches of snow out of the storm. It's not on the models yet. It probably will be on Saturday, but someone is going to get 20 to 30 inches. Now, is it going to be south central Pennsylvania? Is it going to be back west towards Altoona, Johnstown, State College, Scranton area? I cannot tell you that right now. And if anybody could tell you that right now, they're lying to you. So here's where the trickiness comes in. So normally you have an upper level low, which is skirting along here, surface low pressure. Now I'm even going to zoom in more here. Upper level low, surface low. We're going to move forward. Now watch this. This is not making any sense to me. Okay. See this low pressure system here off of, or I guess, Annapolis, Maryland, if you're familiar with where that's at. Watch with this next frame what it does. It jumps from Annapolis to pretty much Hagerstown, and then Allentown. That doesn't make much sense to me. But the European model is showing that for a reason. Have to zoom back out. See this pocket of energy right here? It is basically from right here to right here where it starts to pull this back. It is capturing or trapping, or basically in meteorology, almost all levels of the atmosphere are becoming virtually stacked on top of each other. And the storm is beginning to mature at its hit its peak maturity. I don't think that's going to happen as modeled and as represented as shown here. Could this modeling be right? Yes. If this modeling is right, then South Central Pennsylvania receives 4 to 7 inches of snow with a ton of sleet and freezing rain, and then going over to all rain. Okay? That's if this model representation occurs. The other thing no one's talking about is a dry slot. Normally, you don't want to see this area of low pressure go right over top of you. You're probably going to get dry slotted, which means you're going to have precipitation coming up this way, precipitation coming down that way, and then normally wherever this low pressure goes, that's where the dry slot occurs. So that shuts off precip. And then what no one's talking about yet, because we can't even begin to decipher, is the deformation band, which is the back western edge of the precip. So we have a couple different options right now, and all of which are on the table. So this is the European model. Let me zoom back in to show you again. The storm went from Annapolis at 990 millibars to Hagerstown in a matter of 3 hours at 985 millibars, and then escapes northeast, only down 1 millibar to 984. Upper level low is right over York County. Right over York County. You don't want to see that for a big snowstorm in South Central PA. You want this upper level low to be down here. You want this whole area to be 75 to 100 miles south, which in turn would put this low pressure system right about there. That's where you would want for a big storm in South Central PA. But let's go forward. And now low pressure is starting to increase or decrease in intensity, 986, as it moves north. So the European has it basically maturing at its highest point south of the latitude of York, PA, and which is in turn why the low pressure jumped from Chesapeake Bay to Hagerstown to Allentown. Let's go to the Canadian model. Okay. I'm not even going to show any what's known as QPFs forecasts on this because they're wrong at this point in time. All right, we can't even begin to speculate. Yes, we can begin to speculate, but we can't hone them in. All right, so the Canadian model again is one of the models that is west with this area of most snow. And you'll notice, let me zoom out here, east. And let me get this darn, I'll just leave that there. All right. Upper level low, surface low. Upper level low, Kentucky, Virginia border. Surface low, much further west of Richmond. Now with the European, this low pressure was more so down in here, moving this way and then this way. This low pressure system was almost basically moving due north, almost west to an extent. So now let me zoom in. 992 low pressure. This would be at 1 o'clock in the morning on Monday. And let's see what happens here with the next frame. 988, basically saying that this low right here is becoming mature at its strongest point, and then as it begins to go this way, it's going to slowly lose intensity. So this is another example, which would be a little bit of snow and sleet at the onset, maybe 2 to 4, 2 to 5 inches, going over to sleet, freezing rain, and then all rain. This Canadian model is showing, again, all rain. European model was showing rain. Canadian model is showing rain. So that's why this forecast is going to be very tricky. Because if this low pressure. All right, so if this is quicker and this is slower, then this ends up all here. If this is faster and this is slower, then this ends up all here. And if there's any upstream blocking, which is going to affect all of it, then it throws off the forecast. It's literally a matter of 6 hours. Makes a huge difference in the world of meteorology. But we'll go 6 hours later or 3 hours later, and then low pressure to the west of south central PA. Not good. Warm air, rain. Haven't even looked at the latest GFS model, but we're going to look at this together. So let me go back here, and we're going to track this out, and we're going to see where we're at. So this is the 18Z GFS. This is the trough that's going through right now. Here's the storm that's missing us pretty much to the east tomorrow. So far, everything seems like it's on track. Pretty strong low pressure out there. Here comes the energy in from West Coast, making the bend. Upper level low, surface low, down in southern Georgia. We're going along here. This is Sunday afternoon around 1 o'clock. Upper level low, surface low, 998 millibars. That would be, I guess, just north of Myrtle Beach. And let's see how this progresses. Now, I will say that I haven't looked at this model run yet, but the GFS model has been the furthest east of the models. So that would mean more snow, less mixing, less sleet, less freezing rain. So let's see if this model run holds serve or if it's changed and caved to the European and Canadian. So we'll go 3 hours later. So far, I kind of like what I see there as far as a track more so like this up the coast rather than this. So let's see. So this is starting to pull this in here. 993 west of Richmond. Not all that bad. Okay, so what this model run has done, and let's zoom in here, Mid-Atlantic, is we went from a 994 here. 6 hours later, this would be 11 o'clock on Sunday night. Upper level low, surface low. There is an extension of the surface low out here too. Remember, we talked about that last storm if you watch my videos. 990, extension of the surface low pressure out here as well. This is bringing in some warm air in the upper atmospheres particularly. Remember I said about the upper level low. On the European model, the strongest part of the center of the upper level low is pretty much up here. I said you wanted about 7,500 miles south. This looks like a pretty good track for a decent snowstorm. So let's see here. This is 9. And instead, okay, so basically the GFS goes like this, and then kind of what's known as like occluding, and then comes out this way. Whereas European went, if you remember, European went from Annapolis to Hagerstown to Allentown. The Canadian model basically came up here west of Richmond, up here into the Panhandle, and then pretty much went west to south central PA. So the Canadian model is the furthest west of the models. The European is in between, and the GFS right now is the furthest east of the models. I want to go to this to just show you. We're not going to look at any QPF. We're going to look at precipitation type because there's going to be another factor that we need to talk about, and it's upward rising motion, which is going to create heavy precipitation, in turn may cool the upper atmosphere, which may limit sleet and freezing rain. So there's so many different factors that are going on in this storm right now. You're not going to get this stuff on the Weather Channel, nor you're going to get it from Joe Calhoun, by the way, or anyone local weather. All right, let's go here. Precipitation type. 985 surface low in the Atlantic. All right, so here we go. So this is 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock on Sunday. Let's take it one more frame back. All right, so GFS model says snow is slowly approaching the area late afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock. Starts light, picks up in intensity. This is light moderate snow. This is 7 o'clock Sunday night. And then watch what happens here. We go 994, low pressure. See this pink, orange? This right here is sleet and freezing rain. Now what I want to do is I want to show you why. So we have temperatures, surface temperatures. Harrisburg is forecast 26. Thomasville is forecast 30. See this blue getting down here? That's the freezing line pretty much. So let's just go out with this because it's important moving forward. You'll notice temperatures are rising. That's not good if you want snow and sleet, freezing rain. Look at this. We're up into the upper 40s. Now, whatever snow does fall, based upon this, is going to be a heavy wet snow. Okay? Except for at the start. The start's going to be nice and powdery, and the next thing you know, it's going to go to heavy wet snow. But I want to show you upper air temperatures. Don't I have this here? Upper air heights. Oh, there we go. Upper air temperatures. 850 millibars. All right, so at 7 o'clock on Sunday, watch as we progress here. See this? Look how far that this is all warm air aloft coming off of the Atlantic. So as this low pressure system basically strengthens and goes from here to here, then here, watch what happens. This is 850 millibars, warm air. Typically, if you want all snow, you want this purple to not be near you. You want it to be far away. Now, I want to point out something. See how this warm influx came in? And then next thing you know, as the storm basically then is coming this way, see how it backs off back to -3? That's what I was referring to as the upward motion. It's actually cooling the upper levels of the atmosphere. So it may be a situation where you're going through snow, sleet, all over the sleet, back to snow, back to sleet, back to snow. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's sleeting heavy, real heavy, and then boom, big flakes come. And it's maybe even thunder snow. But that is a potential. So normally what would occur, if you have a strengthening low pressure coming like this would pull this zero line even further north. And it still may occur that the zero line gets further north. 925 millibars. This is the area that is closest to the surface, not the 2 meter, but it's close to the surface. So once again, this purple is getting pretty close. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right, so let's go back here to this multi-parameter precipitation type. And sorry this video is so long, guys. I'm trying to make it educational and informative, and it takes time to do this stuff. So I hope you're still with me. All right. So 7 o'clock Sunday night, light moderate snow. 10 o'clock Sunday night, GFS model representation. All this right here is heavy snow. Sleet, freezing rain, mix pockets mixing in. 3 hours later, sleet, freezing rain, pockets mixing in. Heavy snow here, moderate snow. Here's this dry slot I was talking about. See this right here? Western precipitation, east. So you have onshore flow, offshore flow, and then in the middle, it's called the screw zone. Needs to be watched and it needs to be considered. But we won't know about that probably till Saturday. Then we'll go 3 hours later. Under the influence of the upper level low, screw zone. Snowing back here to beat the band. And then light, moderate snow. So based upon what I see here, I'm going to guesstimate that the GFS model is going to say 7.4 inches of snow. Let's see. 7.7 inches. Sleet total. Not all that much. Freezing rain total. Not all that much. Total precipitation total. This is what we need to figure out here, which I think this is wrong, okay? I think that as we get closer to the event, this is known as the QPF. I think that this is going to drastically increase. So it's forecasting roughly an inch of liquid. So if it were to be all snow, which we know it's not going to be likely, out of a 10-to-1 ratio, that would be 10 inches of snow. If you throw in some sleet and some freezing rain, which is what I just showed you, that's why the GFS model is showing 7.4. I said 7.2, just based upon what I was looking on off that model data. Let's go to one more thing. Let's go to the Gfs Ensemble. I use Ensemble data until about, particularly in storms like this, until about 36 hours away from the event. So we're not even there yet. It's only Thursday night. We have Thursday to Friday, Friday to Saturday, Saturday to Sunday. It's 3 days. 24, 24. What's that? 72 hours? 72. All right. GFS mean. You can notice that the GFS mean is higher in precipitation. Let's take a look at its overall depiction of the 500 millibar chart. Let's go back here. Once again, like I said, the GFS has been the furthest east. Now, these are the ensembles. GFS has, I believe it's 20 model runs, okay? So we're taking the average mean. You'll notice that the average mean has not moved. This is very important. It has not really moved much. I'm talking so much. My cigar keeps going out. Sorry, guys. All right. So this is the GFS Ensemble Guidance 18Z. That's the latest run. Let's check this out. Okay, so upper level low, surface low, 995. Now watch what this does compared to the operationals that I just showed you. See how it's not pulling it back? This right here would be a good track for snow. A lot of snow. So surface low went like this. This would be a phenomenal track for a very good snowstorm northwest of the I-95 corridor up into South Central PA, East Central PA, Eastern PA. This would be a very good snowstorm. And then you're seeing it slowly just skating out here, 989. You're still not north of the 40, okay? And then 6 hours or 3 hours later. So let's see here what probably the average mean is probably somewhere around 6.5. Well, I was wrong on that one. The average mean is 8.1. Now, this doesn't really do a good job of factoring sleet, freezing rain. You're noticing that there is a very fine line here between roughly 2 inches, which is where the gray to the light blue is, and 8 inches. Okay, now what I want to do one more thing. I want to show you the snow total by all members. I don't know how well you can see this, but in forecasting, we need to do this because this gives us a generalization. Now we throw out outliers, which I look at this and I don't see too many outliers. This is a sign that the storm system's far west. This one down here. This is a sign that there's an all-out blizzard west of South Central PA. This is like decent. That's the control. Decent snow run. Decent snow. 6 to 8, 8 to 12, 6 to 8, 2 to 3. I'm not going to go through all these, but you get the point. Let me go back here to the prior 12Z run. So this is the 12Z run. And we're going to compare them. Don't really see anything crazy. You see this ensemble run 29, this ensemble run 02. They have to be considered. Like I said, some place is going to get 20 to 30 inches of snow. I just don't know where it's going to be yet. I did it again. For shits and giggles, let's go to the European mean. I have to get in here to the U.S. regions. East. All right, so we're going to move forward here. Let's move forward. That's the storm system that just is going through, missing us to the east. All right, here we go. I don't want to be there. I want to be right here. All right. Surface low, upper low. 999. Let's see what the European does here. This is the ensembles. I haven't looked at this either, I don't think. Richmond. East of the Susquehanna Valley. Let's compare this to its prior run. Pretty spot on. European snow, I believe I did look at that. I believe it's somewhere around like 5 inches. Let's see here, snow. Mid-Atlantic. Yeah, 5.5 inches is what the mean is. So clearly the GFS, because of its furthest east option, is more snow for this area. The European and Canadian are more snow for back in this area. Very tricky situation, very tricky storm. They're all tricky, but this one is extremely tricky because there's literally a difference from here to here. Makes a difference of 5 to maybe 20 inches of snow. So we'll continue to monitor, watch this as it plays out. We still have lots of time. Either way, it does look like it's going to be a plowable snow. That's as it stands right now. What could change? Low pressure system, which I don't think it's going to happen, could end up over Pittsburgh. If it ends up over Pittsburgh, say goodbye to any plowable snow. You'll likely have an inch or two of slush going all over the rain. If low pressure system ends up staying off the coast, well, you're going to have a lot of front end snow, and then you're going to have wraparound snow, and you're going to have snow. You're going to have lots of snow. Well, probably over 10, 12 inches of snow, maybe even closer to 20. If the low pressure system comes up like this, then you're going to get some front end snow in this area, followed by sleet and freezing rain, followed by some rain, going back to a little bit of snow, probably middle of the road scenario. So the best approach right now is to do a wait and see. So when you hear forecasts for 30 inches of snow, are they possible? Probably not. I mean, anything is possible. When you hear forecasts for an inch of snow, probably not, but anything's possible. So it's tricky, is what I'm getting at. Anyway, guys, thanks for viewing. Thanks for dealing with me this entire time. I'm trying to make it as exciting as I possibly can, but it's the weather, and not everyone loves it. We'll see ya. Have a good one.